Hey everyone, I got a concise recap of Spygate that's really good to share with people. And then we're going to go over a couple of my videos that are on the Muslim Brotherhood and a few other things that you might be interested to see. So stick with me. I'll be back in a minute. Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and whew, what a night it's been. Boy, I wanted to share this video with you right here because if you have some friends, or maybe if you're kind of coming to the movement a little late in the game and you're not really sure what the details are about Flynn and the timeline and all of that, you really need to watch this video right here because in 27 minutes they give you a good basis for part of Spygate, what was going on. And so they give you an overview, and I think it really is well worth watching. Now, it's Sebastian Gorka's program, and he was interviewing these two, which are Joe Digenova and Victoria Tenzing. And so they give you kind of an overview of what all happened to General Flynn and the timeline of what was going on with the FBI and everything. So a really good video, great to share, to give people an interesting idea of what was going on. And then I saw this one on the boards, and this is evidently a website called Strava, and it has something to do with the devices that you use, like fitness devices, like Fitbit and things like that, that track your exercise. And this is a map where you can spot other people using it. It's kind of like a heat map. And all those brightly colored areas are places where people are exercising and using this particular, whatever devices fit with this. So very interesting. Well, the problem was that a lot of our soldiers were using these devices. And when they would walk around their bases and use them on their bases, then the lights would start glowing there. And people could figure out where some of our bases were and the layout of some of those bases. So kind of a dangerous military thing that I never would have thought of, but this was posted back in January 2018 by the New York Times, by the way, which, yeah, I was a little surprised on that, but very interesting piece here for you to look at. So I'll leave the links to all these down below. I'm sorry that I'm doing a bunch of videos here, it seems like, and just giving you links, but it was a really brutal night on the boards. Once the 17th letter of the alphabet started posting, and there were 20-some posts, and trying to keep up with them, and the board wasn't behaving well, and it took you like forever to post, and so it was kind of an interesting night. It wore me out, and so I'm a little on the tired side, and I thought, these are important things that you need to be aware of, though. Now, one of the things that he was posting about was the Muslim Brotherhood, and care and those kinds of things. So a while back, this was August 3rd of 2019, I did a series of videos on a document that Louie Gohmert wrote. And he wrote it after Robert Mueller became the special counsel, because Louie Gohmert's been in Congress for a while and he knew who Robert Mueller was and how he worked. So he laid down in this document several different things that people should be concerned about with how Mueller had been handling things when he was the director of the FBI. So I did a series on it, reading the whole document eventually, but it was about 40-some pages long. And so I didn't do it all at once, obviously, and I separated it into 8 different parts. So there are these different parts that you can go to and you can watch them, or if you want to, you can do the whole thing, start at the beginning. I do have a playlist for that, so you can just start at the beginning and go all the way through. But one of them, part 6, as you can see here, was on care in the Muslim Brotherhood. And so I thought, after everything that's the 17th letter of the alphabet was posting tonight, because I'm recording this Thursday night, I thought it would be appropriate. And so instead of just going over the same details again, I thought it would be better just to give you this, because I did a lot of study on it when I was getting the preparation for this video. And so it also deals with the Holy Land Foundation and, what happened there. Louie Gohmert knows an awful lot, and there was a reason why he was so hard on Mueller when he questioned him, because he knew what the guy was. And if you haven't read that document, you really need to. Anyway, then I also did one here where I discussed the whole Islam thing, because Phil and the hidden domestic threat, because Phil Haney was an intelligence officer, and then he retired, kind of was forced retirement, but he was told he was supposed to delete files that would incriminate some of these Islamic groups. And so he was a whistleblower. The problem is, Phil is now dead because he suddenly just was mysteriously murdered, and you're not even hearing about it in the news. You heard about it when it happened, maybe, but then it just kind of disappeared off the radar and never to be heard of again. Well, there's information in here that's about that. So I did that back in February 24th. So that would be something you'd probably want to see too. And I'll leave the links to all those down below so you can read them on your own. Now, if you don't know, the Babylon Bee is a satire site. It's pretty funny most of the time, and I thought this was kind of a funny one. YouTube removing all videos that don't begin with the Chinese national anthem. This video has been removed for not including the Chinese national anthem per YouTube's terms of service. Sorry about that. So, look, they even have the flag. I just think it's kind of funny. And if you go through, you can read this on your own. I just thought it was a funny little piece here that they did. And, because Susan Wojcicki did come out and say that, you couldn't post videos that contradict anything the WHO has said. If who said it, you can't contradict that. That's a no-no. You can't think for yourself. You're not allowed to do that. And so, yeah, it could be dangerous. I had one that was flagged for that. So anyway, yeah, they're just kind of being a little crazy about it. So this takes it further. It's satire, but it was funny. So I'll leave the link to it down below. Remember, if you share it, make sure people know what you're talking about, that it is satire. Okay, it's like the Onion. You got to be careful, because some people will jump on it and they'll say, oh my goodness, that's true. And it's like, yeah, no, it's satire. Okay. And then I'm going to take you to my YouTube page, because I've got several little tweets here that I thought were pretty insightful, but I just don't want to do the individual tweets. So it was easier to get them off of my YouTube page. And my YouTube handle is at ergo_supero, ERGO_SUPERO. And it means therefore I survive, which is in the novel that I'm really waiting to get back from my editor, and I'm still waiting. But in it, one of the characters has a blog, and he uses the handle cogito ergo supero, which is, I think, therefore I survive. So that's kind of my motto, I think, therefore I survive. So anyway, and there will be a t-shirt when the book finally comes out. There will be a t-shirt to go with it. But anyway, I'm kind of waiting on the book right now. And so here we go. This one, Paul Gosar says, the Constitution, doing essential work since 1788. And Dan Bongino had said the Constitution is not a suggestion and there are no asterisks. So kind of interesting on that. This Matthew Holliday, some of these are just people, but I thought what they had to say was really good. I mean, they're not blue check people. This is just a guy that follows Trump, And these are the different things that it seems like our leaders are saying. Bill de Blasio, arrest the Jews. Gavin Newsom, ban the protests. Ralph Northam, give me your guns. Gretchen Whitmer, put on your masks. Arresting pastors and protesters, dads and moms playing with their kids in a park. This is not America. This is an ugly chapter. I agree with him on that. And of course, this is Ben Garrison, and he was wishing a happy birthday to Candace Owens here. So thought that was kind of a cool little picture. And Charlie Kirk says, did you know in the last week of March, Tennessee had more deaths by suicide than deaths by coronavirus? Don't let the cure be worse than the disease. Reopen America now. Gotta agree with him on that. I mean, it's getting bad, and people are going to start to feel totally hopeless. And this is what the press evidently wants them to feel. And Fauci, he's not a champion of hope, that's for sure. So, yeah, we need to be careful about that. And if you happen to be feeling suicidal, please make sure that you contact somebody about it and you talk to people. There's a suicide hotline. Please make sure that you talk to somebody, because there really is hope. And we're getting so very close to something extremely spectacular. You don't want to miss it, okay? Hang in there, folks. We are on the verge of a miracle. We really are. And so this Julian's Rum here, common people, it's okay. I like common people. But some of us have some, even common people like this. Look at this. He's got 87.4K followers. I think it's pretty awesome. Anyway, he says remdesivir costs about $1,000 a pill. Hydroxychloroquine about 60 cents. Yep. And you want to know why Fauci got all crazy about it? I mean, he was like giddy almost when he was talking about this in the briefing. Oh my goodness, it was just so exciting that they were coming up with this remdesivir. Yeah, for $1,000 a pill. And hydroxychloroquine, 60 cents. Which should we really be touting? And hydroxychloroquine, actually, since 2005, there is a paper, a scientific paper done on it. The National Institute of Health, it's on their website. Just go look. It's there. Kate Awakening says, call me crazy, but this almost looks like they've known chloroquine is a potent inhibitor of SARS coronavirus infection and spread since 2005. That's what I was saying. Right there. Right there's the article. So, I don't understand, and I'm pretty sure that the powers that be are going to say I'm wrong for putting this out there. I'm not saying anybody should take anything without contacting their doctor, without being with their doctor. Do it with your doctor, but this paper right here should show your doctor that it is a viable thing. So anyway, Ilhan Omar has said she'll leave the U.S. if she doesn't get reelected. This is the best motivation yet to vote her out. This is like a real-life version of Survivor. Oh, I can see getting her out. Okay, and this was the one that had posted the about the flags. Somebody said that in the comments that they put them up in the morning and then they take them down at night, so they didn't know when the picture was taken. Well, her picture was taken at like 9 something in the morning, so it should have been up. And then this one right here by Stephen L. Miller. He says, I hope people are paying attention to what's happening in America media right now, because these are a couple of things you need to be aware of. China's model of control has been blamed for the coronavirus crisis, but for some, it's looking increasingly attractive. This is Chinese propaganda. That's what that is. And here, internet speech will never go back to normal. In the debate over freedom versus control of the global network, China was largely correct and the U.S. was wrong. I'm stunned to think that any American would support that, because in China, you say the wrong thing, you get like these demerits. You do wrong things, you get demerits. And your travel is restricted, and lots of bad things happen to you when you don't do things the way the Chinese Communist Party wants you to do them. So I can't believe but it's true. And then, of course, our friend here, what did Obama know and when did he know it? That's really the question. He knew it all. He was part of it all. This might be a dumb question, but given what we know now about the FBI and how the leadership handled General Flynn, which law enforcement department will be responsible for raiding FBI offices the way they did Roger Stone? Since the FBI staged a coup, I nominate the Secret Service. So I don't know if that's who would do it. It's kind of interesting question, though, really, because somebody's going to have to do it eventually. C3 always has some good stuff. So let me get this straight. Obama's FBI planned to set up Flynn in a coup attempt. Obama's DOJ planned to set up Flynn in a coup attempt. And Obama's White House planned to set up Flynn in a coup attempt. But Obama did not know about the plan to set up Flynn in a coup attempt? Nobody believes that. Nobody. I like this one. I thought this was pretty funny. Hillary Clinton tests negative for President of the United States. That's one worth keeping and sharing. So, and then this one I posted because this was one that the guys on the research board had put up, because this is essentially it. You take Nancy Pelosi's post when she was talking about Christine Blasey Ford, and you just replace Tara Reade and see what it looks like. And you take Judge Kavanaugh and change it to Joe Biden. Totally is a different thing. And they are just not supporting what they said before. It was one thing when it was Christine Blasey Ford, and it's another thing now that it's Tara Reade. So they're not being consistent at all. And I can't believe that President Trump actually said this. Dirty cop James Comey got caught. Woo! Busted. Yeah, I was pretty happy. And then this one right here, I'm going to actually play for you, because this was one that I think the 17th letter of the alphabet linked to. But this is too good. If you haven't seen it, this is really good, because this is a mashup of Nancy Pelosi responding to a question about Tara Reade compared to how she handled Christine Blasey Ford. And it'll be obvious which one. The one with the scarf around her neck is the one from now with Tara Reade.
Allegation on Justice Kavanaugh when a very similar allegation came out on him.
Well, let me just say, I respect your question, and I don't need a lecture or a speech.
We're here to show our respect for all women who have a case, have it respected, for due process, to investigate, to find the truth, not fear it.
Here's the thing. I have complete respect for the whole Me Too movement. I have 4 daughters and 1 son, and there's a lot of excitement around the idea that women will be heard and be listened to.
But what's happening here has lifetime impacts. The crimes themselves, the allegations that have been made are about offenses that have a lifetime impact.
There is also due process, and the fact that Joe Biden is Joe Biden.
There's an allegation made against a person. An allegation, as I said before, that has lifetime impact on a person to be violated in that way by a person who wants a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court.
There's been statements from his campaign, or not his campaign, but his former employees who ran his offices and the rest, that there was never any record of this.
Instead of asking questions, the Republican leadership fears the truth.
There was never any record, and that nobody ever came forward, or nobody...
Really? They're so afraid of the truth, and they're so afraid of a woman, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, for the truth that she will tell.
I am so proud. The happiest day for me this week was to support Joe Biden for President of the United States.
I joined Leader Schumer in calling for Judge Kavanaugh to withdraw his name from consideration.
He's a person of great integrity, a great concern for the American people.
The Judiciary Committee and the Senate decide to go forward. They have to know that they are having a demoralizing impact and a chilling effect on the entire movement of courageous women who are telling their stories and demanding justice.
He authored the Violence Against Women Act when he was the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the 90s.
So there are 2 equities to be weighed. One equity is the integrity of the Supreme Court. The other equity to be weighed is the respect that we have for women when they come forward.
I mean, wow, on that one. That guy nailed it. I don't know who did it. I'm not sure if Tim Young is the one who did or not, but good job, Tim, if you did, because you picked it out very well and put it together, because that shows the hypocrisy that we have. Really sad. And speaking of hypocrisy, let's look at this one by Ronna McDaniel. Yesterday, a massive story broke about FBI malfeasance at the dawn of President Trump's administration. How many times did the mainstream media mention it during their morning shows? CNN, 0. CBS, 0. ABC, 0. NBC, 0. MSNBC, 0. Unreal, I guess. The enemy of the people, I'm telling you. And then this one right here, I think this is true. He's open to bringing General Flynn back to his administration. So I definitely think that we're going to be seeing him around. And then up here, I wanted to show you, President Trump said, "We can't let the fake news and their partner, the radical left, do-nothing Democrats, get away with stealing the election. They tried that in 2016. How did that work out?" So then this one, and this is not the real Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Okay. This is Sarah Huckabee. Okay. And during COVID-19, Americans have been arrested for going to church in a car, playing with their children outside, paddleboarding alone, going outside in one's own yard, jogging on a beach. Who knew that this virus from China would actually turn America into China? Yeah, who knew? And then this is not the real AG Barr. This is a parody account, okay? But he comes up with really good stuff. And he says, "I'm going to bed. If the FBI raids James Comey while I'm asleep, will someone text Lordy to me?" So I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, so that's what I've got for you on this one. Just wanted to end with a couple of chuckles here, a little bit. And so I've got all of these. I'll put them down below. I'm not the ones that are on my page. I'll just put a link to my page, and that way you can go there and see what I've been looking at. Probably I won't look at too many of them until after you see this video, unless you watch it in the evening. So I try to get on Twitter once a day, but it doesn't always work. And today was kind of a busy day, but I did get a chance to get on there a little bit. So I've got one last thing that I wanted to tell you. In my last video, I was talking about how Comey and all of these deep state players believed that they were doing what was right for the United States. You've got to remember, folks, what I'm talking about is their belief system. They believe that the action they took was the best thing for the United States. Now, when we look at it, we say, holy schmoly, how could anybody look at that and think what they were doing was appropriate, that it was good for our country? But you've got to understand, their goal and their concept of what is good is different than ours, because they see things that we think are good, they see those as evil. You see, we see President Trump as like the greatest president out there. He's done so much for our country. They look at him and they see only a threat, that he is evil in their eyes. And so they believe that the steps they took to get rid of him, or try to get rid of him, the failed steps they took, were justified and that they were the best thing to do. They have no remorse. When you watch them talk, especially like Comey and McCabe, you do not see any remorse in them. None. I mean, they're not remorseful. They don't have any sense that they did anything wrong. They think they're being unfairly prosecuted for what they did and that they were doing the right thing. Now, I'm not saying, that's not me saying it was the right thing. That's their belief system. If you've ever seen the body language ghost, when she talks about people's body language, she says their body language will show what their belief system is. So if you have someone like Comey who genuinely believes that he did nothing wrong, who believes that all the steps he took were genuinely for the best for the United States, his body's going to reflect that. And it does. When she usually does things on him, his body reflects that. It's not reflecting lying, because to him, he's not lying. He thinks that what he did was right.
Look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration. I thought it's early enough. Let's just send a couple guys over. And so we placed a call to Flynn, said, hey, we're sending a couple guys over. Hope you'll talk to them. He said, sure. Nobody else was there. They interviewed him in a conference room at the White House Situation Room, and he lied to them. And that's what he's now pled guilty to.
What did he think they were coming over there for?
I don't think he knew. No, we didn't tell him.
And we all look at him and go, how? How can you possibly think that was right? It's because of his belief system. He has a different belief system than we do. And you have to understand that when you're looking at this whole situation. Because what seems depraved to us, what seems evil to us, they're looking at as good. So it's just like the verse in Isaiah. People are calling good evil and evil good. That's what it is exactly. It's a topsy-turvy type of mentality and a way of looking at things. But it's their belief system. If they believe that way, and they're all trying to push us towards globalism, okay, that is their ultimate goal, because that kind of control puts them up at the top and they can control everybody else. And that's really what they're looking for, because they need this global interaction for all of their ability to gain power and money. So with this, they get this mentality, this belief system, and that's what they truly believe. So it's kind of like when you have somebody who's in a cult. If you talk to someone who's in a cult, they actually believe what they're saying. So their body will probably go with them on it. Their body movements will support what they're saying, even though what they're saying may be totally false. And that's something you have to understand about how belief systems affect our body language. And this is also what I'm seeing with Comey and McCabe and all of these people, even Peter Strzok, when he was in that hearing where he was being drilled in Congress. The man was arrogant because he genuinely thinks he did nothing wrong.
Not once in my 26 years of defending our nation did my personal opinions impact any official action I took. This is true for the Clinton email investigation, for the investigation into Russian interference, and for every other investigation I've worked on. It is not who I am, and it is not something I would ever do, period. I understand that my sworn testimony will not be enough for some people. After all, Americans are skeptical of anything coming out of Washington. But the fact is, after months of investigations, there's simply no evidence of bias in my professional actions.
Obviously, we know that he did. We know that the steps they took were not right, that they were against our country. But in their minds, they think they were doing the right thing. So that's what I wanted to convey. I guess I must not have said it right, because I had several people in the comments I noticed that were making comments on it and appalled that I would say they did right. I didn't say that what they were doing was right. Not at all. It was appalling what they did. But in their minds, they think what they did was right. And that makes it weird when you're looking at them and trying to discern their body language, because their body language says, yes, I'm a good person. I am a superhero because I have done all these wonderful things, even though what they've done has been destroying our country. And they don't see it that way. They think it's moving us toward that globalism that we all need to be part of. Right. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so hey, I'm going to bed. And if the FBI raids James Comey while I'm asleep, will somebody text me, Lordy? So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I'm sure by the time you see this, it'll be tomorrow morning. But hey, I'll be sleeping probably still. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.